It's Ramsey Dewey all the way over here in Southern California with Sensei Ando. And yeah, we are here in person as opposed to
Real life.
in real life, flesh and blood.
No trash talk now. We're right here.
Were we trash talking before?
Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't there.
Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, Ando, you did a video some time ago that I thought was really meaningful. It impacted me. I thought it was one of the best videos on flexibility for martial artists I've ever heard, because it wasn't so much about flexibility as it was about something else. You called it the ABCs, or
ABC, you got it. Always be conditioning, my friend.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by that?
Absolutely. One of the most common complaints I'm usually getting from students is I'm not flexible enough. I want to kick high, particularly older students. And they usually limit their training time to, I go a couple classes a week. I should be more flexible by now. And of course, the trick is that martial arts shouldn't just be your part-time activity. It should be a lifestyle. If you do that, that means that you always have the opportunity to be working on your flexibility, your strength, your balance, your calm, whatever you want. So incorporating some exercises into your daily life is the secret to making progress, real progress. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
Always be conditioning. There's always something you can do. So we're standing here and, I'm rocking back and forth on my toes, working on my calves. How about?
All right.
Can I do that? I could do that. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy. Standing at the supermarket, can you just kind of shift over and balance on one foot? No one even has to know. You're just kind of working on your balance, thinking about that chambering of a kick. Just no one has to notice that. That's easy. I can be flexing my gut.
That's such a simple thing.
I remember Jean-Claude Van Damme talking about always squeezing his derriere, as it were, just to kind of keep all those muscles engaged and strong down there. So a lot of the stuff is just invisible.
Yeah, well, it's invisible until it isn't. Like I was noticing the other day, I'm at a grocery store, and there's this lady. She's kind of humped over, and her neck is poking out at a weird angle like this. And I'm thinking, man, if she would just like squeeze her center, lift from up here, flex the butt a little bit, then she would be like 6 inches taller and just look so much better, probably feel a lot better, more healthy.
For sure. I mean, the number one complaint usually for people, older people going to the hospital, is back pain. Mm-hmm. So right off the bat, if you're going to listen to this video at all, and you think about, hey, I should put a little more conditioning into my daily life, I would target that first, your spine. Target your spine first. Mm-hmm. See if you can really balance out your neutral spine. Try to sit down a little bit in your thinking. Raise the crown of your head a little bit. Let your shoulders relax a little bit. Find the ground with your feet. And at least find that stable standing posture, which of course is explored in depth in internal martial arts, some of the Chinese styles, of just learning how to stand properly. If you can stand well and balance, then maybe you can step well. Maybe you can run well. Then maybe you can fight well. So there's a natural progression that some people come in wanting to kick and punch really well right off the bat, and they can't even stand properly.
Yeah.
And by proper, I mean, I'm not judging you, but I mean that you feel comfortable in your skin. You don't feel like there's tension in your neck and in your lower back. How are you supposed to kick if your platform is already bent and distorted and off kilter? It's a losing battle there.
If you don't have the structure, you don't have anything. Let's go back to some of those things you started out with, like balancing on one foot. Like even if it's just like shifting the weight, so nobody really notices. You're not doing the crane stance.
Well, go ahead, be my guest.
You could.
You'll get more space around you at the supermarket for sure.
You certainly would. But that is such an important thing, especially for stand-up fighters. One of the best martial artists, probably the best striker that I know, a guy named Jawad Mahmoudi. He's been on my channel before. We did a video that was really well received about the ghost kick. Go check it out. It's good information. Mm-hmm. But I was picking his brain about, like, how are you so good at kicking? How are you so good at like all this balance that you do? Because he does some really simple things that require kind of an uncanny balance. It seems uncanny. And he said, okay, let me give you a simple exercise. And it was just this. Stand on one foot. Doesn't have to be fast. Throw two front kicks. Mm-hmm. Shift to the other leg. Throw 2 of those. And then do that 10 times a day. And then when that gets easy, do 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, it's like some old school Taekwondo training that we used to do back in the day. Just balance on one foot and do one of these. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing this again. Balancing on one foot. After a couple of months, my kicks leveled up. And I'm not a young man anymore. I'll be 45 this year. I'm not super old, but I'm not a young man anymore. And just doing that leveled up my game.
Absolutely.
In a way that I didn't really feel was going to happen at this point in my life, but it did.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And I think improvements, especially in balance, happen really quickly. I have a couple of students who are older, like 70s, and they struggle with balance. And when I recommend, well, hey, just while you're watching your favorite show on Netflix, just stand up a little while, and just start challenging yourself. Make it a game. Time yourself. And very quickly, within a month, they'd already gone past a minute, which for them was a big deal because they couldn't do it for like 6 or 7 seconds when they started. But very quickly, the body wants to be balanced. It wants to be healthier and stronger. So it will jump on board and start to help you and coordinate it. So now it's just a question of what priorities do you have in your training that you want to enhance, and then figuring out, okay, during my day, where can I work in just a little bit of something to keep that momentum going? The trick sometimes with martial arts is people want to go hard and fast all the time, and you can't really develop that way. Spurts wear off. Your momentum breaks. Then, oh, I'm so sore. I got to take off 2 days. Well, now you're not getting anything. So I would rather be slow and steady and find little things that you can do. And that's just like you demonstrated those kicks. Whether you want to, every time you go to the bathroom, you throw a couple of punches, or you want to practice a couple of penetrating steps, whatever your style may have, work it into your day. Just put it in there. There's no reason to walk through your home and go to the refrigerator when you could be shuffling, when you could be hopping. There's so many ways to make your life fun and be making progress. So yes, always be conditioned.
Yeah, so many ways to do that. That first thing you mentioned, going up and down on the toes. I can think of a lot of practical applications in martial arts and just life in general for strengthening the tendons and the feet. And there's so much about just strengthening your feet that improves your quality of life, that also improves your ability as a martial artist. I had a new student come in, and I could tell right away he did not have strong feet. He was kind of all over the place, wobbling and so on. And I noticed his toes are kind of up in the air when he moves around.
Was he an elf?
Not an elf.
Okay.
Not an elf. I think it's just, most of us wear shoes. That's a pretty normal thing to do. You don't want to step on a sharp, pointy object on the ground, so we tend to do it as human civilization. We wear shoes on our feet, but it also has the unfortunate side effect of making our feet move in unnatural ways that can make them weaker.
Absolutely.
So I love the fact that the first thing you mentioned is just calf raises, basically.
Simple as that. I highly recommend just that little bit of mobility down there. Keep that ankle, a joint that most of us don't think about. Just keep that lubricated and strengthening all the time.
Yeah.
Please do that.
Now, since we were initially talking about flexibility, one position I find a lot of people are really inflexible in is the hips. And so I recommend what people tend to call the Asian squat, which is just
what are you going to do?
Squat down.
Okay. I'm with you.
Just sit in that position for a couple minutes a day.
Yeah.
And some people find this incredibly uncomfortable if they're not used to it. But man, if you're the inflexible guy, just go down as low as you can. Hold it for, doesn't have to be a ridiculous amount of time, just a minute or so.
Yeah. And since you're down here, give yourself a kung fu salute, put your elbows inside, and do some isometric butterflies here. Try to push out and push in and give yourself a little resistance, kind of really work that hip. While you're down here anyway, you might as well add a little strengthening to the flexibility. Yeah,
stretching and strengthening really should go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
We're just pulling the body apart. Essentially, we're making ourselves weaker.
Yes.
If you think about strength sports like weightlifting, these guys need incredible mobility and flexibility in the shoulders in order to hold a heavy bar up overhead like that.
It's true.
But they also need to be incredibly strong. And so they develop that strength and that flexibility simultaneously.
Yeah. Yeah, martial artists, we don't want to just be macaroni.
Yeah.
That's no good. Or uncooked macaroni. You want to find al dente, my friend. Al dente. Yeah. Just firm enough. Flexible but firm.
There we have it from Sensei Ando. Always be conditioning. I would say, whatever your martial art is, find ways to do that on the regular. It's great to have like a dedicated time in the day, like spend an hour practicing your martial art, do your forms, whatever your thing is. But I love that idea, like walking to the refrigerator, shadow boxing, bobbing and weaving, slipping and all that stuff.
No more walking. I'm cursing you all. No more walking.
Speaking of no more walking, do you ever walk on all fours?
Absolutely. Bear crawls and crab walks. And
Yeah, I got a YouTube comment. I don't remember who it was, but whoever left me this comment, thank you, because it kind of, it changed me. The guy said, I spent 3 months just walking on all fours, and then I became so much stronger than I'd ever been in my life. And I thought, well, I'm not going to spend the next 3 months crawling on all fours, but I'm going to spend a few minutes every day just moving around on all fours.
Absolutely. I think there's something primal about that. I think there's tons of people doing the parkour and the animal movement type of style of stuff. That's great conditioning. It makes your brain work in different ways. That horizontal plane, obviously, if you're a grappler, it's fantastic. So absolutely, sure.
And it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a huge effort. It was just a couple minutes a day, and just moving around like this just increased strength, flexibility, functional movement. That word's thrown out really lazily to mean like doing circus tricks, like balancing on a ball in a weird way while holding a thing up over your head while attached to a rubber band, and it's
functional for Cirque du Soleil. That's
yeah. Functional means it's got to serve a purpose.
Yeah. Getting up and down is functional for sure, for many different ways. Whether you wanted to go down or someone pushed you down, it's functional.
Yes.
Get down and get back up.
Yes, exactly. If you're doing any drill in the gym, any drill at home that requires going from the floor, the lowest point, to standing up, the highest point, or if you want to be an overachiever, add a little jump afterward to go a little bit higher.
Amen.
Yeah, there's some functional movement.
Bear crawl burpees. I like the sound of that.
Bear crawl burpees. Oh, man.
Go for it.
I got some new drills to take back to the folks of Shanghai. Bear crawl burpees. They're going to love it. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
Stay al dente, my friend.
Thank you so much for making an appearance on, what do we call this? The Ramsey Dewey channel? Yes, the Ramsey Dewey channel.
I like it.
And thank you for watching. Now get out there and train.